Hey there, I'm Connor, I'm Off the Cuff, and today I am talking to you about Deadpool. Deadpool is the first of about 6 or 7 comic book movies coming out this year, and it stars Ryan Reynolds as the titular Deadpool, a mercenary who falls in love, gets cancer, has his life mutated and taken away from him by Ed Skrein, and he becomes Deadpool, a character who knows he is a character in a movie. He's insane, and there's a lot of nudity, whole lot of F-bombs, and a lot of ultra-violence. It is a hard R-rated comic book movie, and it's made a lot of money. So, but how is Deadpool? It's fine. It's average. I'm going to compare this to the first Iron Man movie. Now, if you love the first Iron Man movie, you're going to love this. It's basically a pretty generic, below average, just kind of okay superhero origin story, but elevated thanks to the central performance. And I want to get into that right off the bat. Ryan Reynolds is amazing in this movie. He is the reason why this movie works as well as it does. He's quick-witted, he's sharp, he's funny. His character is annoying to other characters, but he's never really annoying to the audience. At least I was never annoyed. And that's something I have to give props to this movie. I like Deadpool in Deadpool, which is crazy, because outside of this movie, I've never really liked Deadpool in anything. He's always really annoyed me, and I honestly think film is a better medium for this kind of character than comics. So, yeah, I liked Deadpool. I also really like the action. The action is a lot of fun. Style, it's really fast. The editing is quick, but I was always aware of what was going on, and it was exciting. The humor is very, very funny. Now, it comes with this approach that it's throwing everything at you, everything in the kitchen sink. They're going just a bunch of jokes left and right, just throwing everything at the wall, seeing what sticks. And in my opinion, a lot of it sticks, especially the fourth wall breaking stuff. I think some of the stuff is more clever than it's letting on. But what did I not like about this movie? Well, I'm just going to get right off the bat. I thought the characters of Angel Dust, who is the villain Francis's henchman, and the character of Colossus could have been cut from this movie entirely. Now, I know what you're thinking. What? But Colossus was awesome. Yeah, he was a lot of fun, but he also didn't really serve a purpose. I felt like he was, the square-jawed, generic optimist superhero who's supposed to tell Deadpool, you can be better than this. But the movie was self-aware enough and was kind of letting on that he could be better than this without him in it. So I felt he was a little redundant, and Angel Dust was just there for Colossus to fight. So she was kind of pointless. I did like, however, Negasonic Teenage Warhead. I felt like she provided a nice millennial foil for Deadpool. The actress they got for her was great. She was a lot of fun, and she actually allowed Deadpool to be the butt of a lot of jokes. And when you have Deadpool who thinks he's awesome and everyone loves him, so it could kind of come off as a vanity project for Ryan Reynolds. But the inclusion of Negasonic Teenage Warhead, let him take some hits, and I like that a lot. And she was really cool. Also, Ed Skrein as the villain. Now, this is where something gets a little. So there's some give and take here. Ed Skrein was in The Transporter Refueled, probably the worst part of that movie, and that movie had a lot of bad things in it. It was very bad. I really liked him in this movie. He gave a great not great, but a very good performance. He elevated this material because the material here isn't very good. Francis is a pretty weak villain, but Ed Skrein does have a very callous, smug menace to him. I really liked him. He was really fun. And fun is the name of the game. This is a very fun movie. My issue is it isn't very deep. It's a movie that, as a superhero movie, it's pretty by the numbers. As a romance movie, it's surprisingly shallow and pretty by the numbers. And there's a little horror movie element somewhere in the middle, and that was really not very good. Didn't really work that well as a body horror movie. I didn't feel. I didn't have flashbacks to Fantastic Four or anything, but it wasn't like Scanners. So I also found some of the special effects to be a little bit questionable. I understand that they had $7 million taken away from them, at the last minute. I understand that, but it doesn't excuse the fact that it didn't look all that good. I think the direction has a lot of energy and it brings a lot to the table, but the eye for cinematography, I get this is Tim Miller's first movie, but his cinematography was a little bland. The color palette was not very unique. It wasn't like it was just popping really neat visual experience. It was a little bland, and it was kind of just relying on Ryan Reynolds' humor, which that does work. And some of the humor I mentioned earlier that I really liked a lot of the humor. Some of the humor really didn't stick for me. There's some non sequitur jokes, like you saw in the trailer. Did I leave the stove on? Well, that's just a punchline. There was no setup for that. It's just a punchline, and a punchline without a setup isn't funny. It's a non sequitur, so it wasn't funny. However, I did think this movie was a lot of fun. You probably already watched it. Don't take your kids to it. Obviously, don't take your kids to see Deadpool. But in the end, I should probably mention the romance element. I didn't really like it. I mentioned that I thought it was kind of shallow because Morena Baccarin, she's a great actress. I really like her. She does a good job here. And her character is really shallow, unfortunately. The thing is, she gives her personality, but in the end, she doesn't really serve as anything other than motivation. She doesn't really have any, desires. She doesn't really have anything she wants to accomplish. She's just there in service of Deadpool, and that's kind of disappointing. And then she just becomes a damsel in distress, which is disappointing. And the movie, this movie is so quick to call out tropes. It's so quick to call out superhero landing, they always do that. But, look there's a damsel in distress. Why aren't you commenting on that trope you're doing, huh? Why aren't you doing that? And there's also some editing tricks here that the structure here was a little Man of Steel-ish, and that's not a compliment. It's where the first half of the movie in present day is just on an overpass, and there's a lot of flashbacks. And there'll just be a moment where we have this really long 10 to 15 to 20 minute flashback, and then it cuts to present day for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then we get another 15-minute flashback. Yeah, that was, structurally speaking, that was a little frustrating. In the end, I'm going to give Deadpool a 7. A pretty weak 7, but a 7 nonetheless. Yeah, it's alright. Anyways, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I'm Connor. See you later.